Hi, everybody. Welcome to Pure Soul. The topic today is how to treat a woman. And I made a post on Facebook and I started by saying that our relationship with women start with our mother. And you might think that you didn't have a biological mother that raised you. Maybe someone else took the position as the mother. It could have been your grandma, your aunt, an adoptive mother, your sister, and as situations happen in life where sometimes our biological mother, the one that gives us life, is not the one that raises us as the mother figure, right? But there is a mother figure that you have. So what we learn from that mother figure is the personality, how she talks, how she behaves, if she lies, if she likes to clean, if she likes to fight. And also, we learn our sense of our body from our mother, right? Because soon as we're born, she's touching us. And there is people that don't have positive experiences with their mother, right? That is a shame. It is also because in our society, we identify mother with love, with not having God being available to us. We are told that that's why we have a mother, because God couldn't be everywhere. And you know that God can be everywhere, but sometimes it seems like God doesn't listen to us. So many of us have a loving mother, but some people don't, right? So, how do you identify yourself when you don't have a loving presence as a mother, a loving figure, someone that care for you? And mothers are not perfect. We are not perfect. We make mistakes. Sometimes we are not loving. Sometimes it seems like we don't care. But I like to tell you that mothers have wisdom. They know how to treat each of their child. And it's because every one of them has a different purpose. And they seem to have that wisdom integrated within them, and they don't even realize it. I can tell you, for example, my mother had 8 kids and she has 6 girls. And she talked to each of us in a different way. And she felt about us in a different way. And that has been changing throughout the years, because someone who used to be protective and caring now is selfish. And it happens like that when we change, we grow, we go through difficulties in life, and sometimes we make decisions that affect others. So the way our mother sees us can change. But how do you see yourself? How integrated is the feminine part on you, regardless if you are a man or a woman? How integrated is that part of the personality, and how connected is your soul to your mother, right? If you don't have anything else to be grateful for, be grateful that she gave you life. If it wasn't because of her, you wouldn't be alive, regardless of the decisions she might had to make to keep you alive. I don't think it's easy to give out a child of yours. I don't think it's easy to leave him abandoned anywhere. And I don't think you can ever forget that. We go through this process of pregnancy where you know you have a child in your womb, and you can feel that child move. And due to the pregnancy, there is many uh, uncomfortable aspects that you have to deal with: the weight, the pain, the contractions. You feel like you need to scratch your belly constantly. You need to be watching what you eat. You're very conscious about not to eat that much of a spicy food or something that if you got an allergic reaction that you never had before, then it's probably the baby. So even if you like s- a- an item that you enjoy it a lot, like as far as food, let's say you like beef a lot, but suddenly you're developing an allergy you didn't have before. and it only happened on this pregnancy. It's because it's the baby's reaction to it. So now you cannot have it unless you want to make yourself sick or make the baby sick, right? And when you know it's a small life, that is in you, it's a heavy burden. And the generations now are changing, but back in the day, women deal with a lot of domestic violence by their partners. I remember my uncle used to be really mad at my grandpa because he said one time grandma was pregnant and grandpa didn't believe that the child was his. And he used to beat it up and kick her stomach, and that wasn't appreciated, of course, by the son. And he remembered that. And one time he almost tried to kill grandpa. My uncle tried to kill grandpa. He said, "You killed my mother," right? And there is many aspects that we see throughout the generations that happen to us in our own families. My uncle and my grandpa are not alive anymore, right? But I learned that from them, that sometimes parents don't give you a good example. I didn't have a dad because my dad died when I was two. Basically, my grandpa was the father figure, and he wasn't a good one. And most of the examples were bad intention, and there wasn't much good that you could learn from him, right? But he was my father figure. But as much as I miss my dad, I didn't have um, many memories that I could remember. But I remember many times being grateful of not having a dad because the examples I saw with the girls in my school, with my cousins, with neighbors, where young girls would get sexually abused by the dad, where the moms were physically abused, where many situations happen where the dad will have a wife and he will try to sleep with the sisters or even with the mother, and situations like that where it was just horrible examples of fathers. And many times as a little girl, I remember being thankful that I didn't have a dad, so I didn't have to go through all those situations. And as much as my mom assured us that my dad was a loving man and he was a good man and she always spoke up about him, back in my mind there was always a thought that what if that's not the whole truth? What if he treat us like that when we were little, but maybe when we grow up, he would change. He will treat us in a different way. And a horrible example of raising girls and raising basically girls in the family is when you tell a girl that she looks better without makeup. That is a lie. And when you tell a girl that because she puts red lipstick on her lips, she looks like a whore or like someone that sells pleasure, right? And those are wrong messages that we get as young people that are not helpful. Having red lips is not compared to you selling your body. In some people, it's the last resource that they have. And some people do it temporarily because they want to pay for college, they want to pay for a career, they feel like it's the easiest thing to do, they feel like they can put up with it. I don't think it's easy sleeping with different men in the same day. It hurts to have sex with a man, especially when a man is strong and when you don't feel like it, when you don't want it. When you are the wife and you have to do it because it's your duty and you feel bad saying no, even though you want to say no, it hurts. It's painful. For us, it's not an experience that we enjoy all the time. It's not an experience that we look forward to. When you find a woman like that, it's because she has been without sex for years, for months, or is someone who has the libido at a high extent. And there are women like that. I'm not gonna tell you there are not. There are women that have that libido like men, but most of the women don't. For us, it's hard. For us, it's a sacrifice to be with a man, especially if we don't like him, if he is unkind, if he is inconsiderate, if he doesn't help around, if he doesn't treat us with respect, if he doesn't give us the place and the right we have as the position that we have, if we are either the girlfriend or the or the wife or the housewife, right? Or even if we are the lover, sometimes you don't even have that place in his life because he's too busy with other women, or he's too busy working, where you're not even important only until he needs you. And we're supposed to be waiting for you, right? And be happy because you're back, and be willing because we love you, right? And what happens when we have relationships like that, that men are big spenders. They feel like we love them so much that the love is never going to go away, right? But they keep on spending the love. As much as we love you, you keep on spending it. And there is a point in the relationship and a point in life where you don't feel love anymore, when you are not willing to sleep with a man anymore, when you're not willing to cook for him, to do his laundry, to answer the phone call, to tell him what you did for the day, to tell him how you feel, right? It's because sometimes we get this big expenders. And there are women too that are like that. And you're gonna say women are like that too. They drain our energy, they drain our bank accounts. It's never enough what we do for them. Yes, that is true as well. There are women like that. And many times those are the women that you are married to. That is the kind of behavior that I see on married women. And the more I live, the more I see that the married women are the ones that are having an urgency to cheat, that they're having an urgency to go and find someone else because they're bored of the same partner, because they know that the man is going to cheat, because they already know that he cheated before. So they're looking for an opportunity just to pay back the cheating, just to be with someone else, right? Because once when they get all these advantages that you give them, it's not enough. Suddenly they're bored, and suddenly they want more. A lot of people that has marriages, the relationships are not positive, they are not loving, they are not caring. They are there because it's convenient to be married. They are there because they're not brave enough to say, I'm not happy, I don't want to be in this relationship, right? So how do you treat a woman? The same way you treat a child. If you are sleeping with a woman and she doesn't want to be with you intimately, and when she's asleep, you start touching her in her parts, and you grab her and you use her. She's feeling what you're doing. If she's pretending she's not waking up because she doesn't want to correspond to what you are doing, right? And that same thing happens when you abuse a child. When you touch a child's intimate parts, there is no way he doesn't feel or she doesn't feel. I had a girl for lashes not too long ago that I did some free services to speed up my technique. And she was telling me that her uncle sexually abused her when she was 14. At 16, she already left to have a life with her boyfriend because she was tired of it. And I told her, well, not I told her, I asked her if she told her mom. And she said, no. I said, why? She said, because I love him. I said, who? She said, my uncle. She is my mom's brother. I'm sorry, he is my mom's brother. And I feel embarrassed to say it. I said, does your boyfriend know? She said, yes. I said, you need to say the truth. She said, I'm afraid that they will do something to him. And I told her, if you don't say the truth, he's going to take the chance and abuse another person young like you. He says, I actually have a sister and she has becoming very quiet. I say, you have to say the truth because he's probably doing the same thing to your sister now, right? Abusers think that kids don't realize those are memories that you don't take away of your mind, that you don't want to share with your parents is because you know that it's going to be an issue. You know the relationship with that family member is going to be broken and they're going to find a way to make him pay or to make her pay. I know there are women that also abuse children. It happens when you take your kids to babysitting. As soon as it's an old lady who is making your child do oral sex on her, right? And that happens too. It is the society we live in that we need to go to work and leave our kids. And you're leaving it to sick people that you don't even know, they don't even look like it, but they're able to do that to your children, right? So, how do you treat a woman? You treat her in the way you wish they would treat your sister, your daughter, your mother, your grandpa. You treat it in the way you wish to be treated if you were a woman instead of being a man. We are not hard to be understood. You guys make it complicated. When we don't want to talk and when you call us crazy, it's because we found something that you're doing. And we don't just mention it because we're crazy or because we're smart or because we are intuitive. We are all that. But we become detectives. We've been studying you for a long time already. We know your movements, we know your behaviors. We see when you buy new underwear. We see when you're losing the weight that you didn't want it to lose before. We see if you're going happy to work. We see if you make up a lie about now I need to go in an hour earlier. And we could probably guess who you're sleeping with and even dream about it, right? But as soon as we find out, you call us crazy. When your crazy woman gets tired of you, she's not gonna be your crazy woman anymore. She's gonna be this beautiful flower that is gonna blossom somewhere else, far away from your reach, far away from you having a say in. Because when she grows out of the shell where she was, she's not gonna be that woman anymore. You're gonna come back and you're gonna try to find the old woman that was there, and that woman it's done. She's not the same woman anymore. Don't underestimate a woman. Back in the day, men had a lot of power because they used physical abuse. In this country, it's not so much anymore. And it's not because the system that we have as far as the police, it's because our our gender has paid with many deaths already from our women, our grandmas, our aunts, our mothers being killed that way. We already paid that sacrifice many times. And as I study spirituality, I learned that a culture it's measured by the way they treat their women. And you cannot generalize a culture by the behavior of one man or one woman or one person, right? So if men's culture is measured by the way they treat their women, that doesn't generalize anything. If someone from my culture doesn't treat women kindly, doesn't appreciate women, and doesn't think that women are valuable, that women are smart, that you can use women intuition in business and life, that many times a woman can save your life if you listen to her. But if one person in my culture sees women under his belts and not even with value, that is one man in my culture. That doesn't define the entire group of men in my culture. Same as any culture, right? It's just where the man is. where the man is at the moment, the way he expresses about women, the way he feels about women. And what amazes me about men is when they say women are not good for anything, they're only uh, good to be used to have sex, right? That is the most stupid thing I ever heard from a man. And as soon as I hear it, I say it back. I say, "You're so stupid if you think that way." Because that is not our value. We are givers of life. Thanks to a woman, you are alive. Your dad didn't carry you in his belly. It was your mother. And you didn't came alive in 10 days. It took months. It took her to not being able to do the activities she used to do. It took her not being able to work, not being able to eat what she ate, not being able to sleep in the way she used to, and having to protect you on top of protecting herself. Everywhere she went, she had to do that for you. If you cannot have appreciation for that, then I don't know what you can have appreciation for. You probably don't understand because you never carry a baby in your belly. You don't know what it is to feel a heartbeat, to feel a knee or an arm or an elbow on your belly and it's sticking out. You don't know what it is to go many times to pee because you have to keep a certain level of water inside that womb for the baby to be healthy. You don't know what it is having to go to the doctor multiple times to check on your pregnancy, to get all these tests and treatments done. The first thing they do to you is a physical exam and they determine if you have an STD, sexual transmitted disease. And early in the pregnancy, that is the first um, condition that they treat on you, sexual transmitted disease. And you know you have a newborn that is basically forming his heart. You go to the doctor and they give you these dolls that are so small, especially when you're only like 3 months pregnant. So small, not even formed. You don't even see fingers on those dolls, and they give them to you, and you put it in your hand, and you can only imagine how your baby looks inside your belly because your belly is now a little big, right? A little bigger than how the doll looks. And it's just so much that we go through just to bring a life. And the whole process of the pregnancy and also the day you give birth to that child, you feel like you're dying. The pain is nothing that is easy to handle. It's you feel like you're dying before the baby is out. If that's not a big enough sacrifice for you, then I don't know what it is. I don't know why you need to be able to appreciate and love the woman who gave you life. I don't know why you need to appreciate and love women and give them value and give them opportunities. I used to work at a Mexican restaurant, and the brother of my boss didn't like to have female servers because he thought they were stupid. He only had male servers, right? And his beliefs, that people have. But there is also places that only have female servers. They don't have men. There is breakfast places. There is cafes that prefer women. There are bars that prefer women, and men deal with that too. It's just the same way as businesses. It's also other avenues, other opportunities. Public speaking, most of the speakers are men. Positions in business, up to becoming a president of a country, is mostly men. Rarely you're gonna see a woman. We're not allowed to have those high positions in power because we have a cycle that we get every month and we get moody. And it's been said that we don't take good decisions in those days. And who takes decisions every day? And don't you think that men have their bad days too? Men have their days when they are depressed, when they are angry at an issue, when their anger is out, and they are not doing good decisions either. And they might not be inconsiderate or thinking on the best solution or necessarily caring that there is a solution. Many times in life and in situations, we don't resolve anything. We don't care to resolve it. We just let it be. When you let it be, it takes its own course. It doesn't mean it's resolved. It just goes where it needs to go. It goes to the worst case scenario and crashes into a more bigger problem, or it goes into just being ignored and apparently disappears for a while until something bigger calls our attention. But it's there, you know. Avoiding or ignoring the problems doesn't mean that they're gonna get taken care of by themselves. A solution might come in consequence to that. Maybe next time that we make a hole anywhere and someone falls into the hole, that makes us aware of that hole and we try to patch it and we try to resolve it. But it takes people being hurt before we are able to think of a solution. There is many women in the world. Census proof that there are more women than men in many countries. And you have the ability to leave a woman and choose another one and choose a younger one and choose a younger one and a younger one and marry 10 times if that's what you want, right? There is always women that are willing. But many times you had a moon, and because you're looking at the stars, you lose that moon. And she was the person who understood and loved you when you didn't have money. She is the person that helped you become mature. She is the person that guided you. But now she's older and you don't like her anymore. Now you want a younger version. Now you want someone that has a profession like the profession you have. Because the woman you had who stayed home is an ignorant now. Because she decided to take care of your children. Because she decided to take care of the house and she trusted that you will provide. So she wasn't thinking that one day you will be gone and she will not be prepared to succeed in the workforce. It's easy to get a new model. Women do it too. Women can get a new model as well. But do we really need to do that? I also don't believe that you should be married forever if you're not happy. That whenever you're fighting and the kids are watching is not a healthy experience for them either. You're teaching them that it's okay to insult each other and then sleep together. That is not the right message. Because then they're going to tend to be in relationships where they identify that as love. We need to end the cycles as society of aspects that harm our physical, emotional, and our soul. We are sensitive beings. We are beings of love. And when you harm another one, you harm yourself. Ultimately, someone is going to harm you. You create events and situations in your life where it's going to be in disfavor for you. Be conscious of your actions. Women are very important pieces of your life, of society, of the world, of the advancement of our species, on the evolvement of our souls. We are wise individuals that are very intuitive. We are not crazy. When you deny a woman, she knows better. When you start calling her crazy, she hit the nail on something. We know that. We learned that. If you have a relationship with a woman, make sure you treat her right. You treat her kindly. You ask questions. You give her time. You give her the confidence that when she needs you, she can come to you and ask you for anything she might need. That is not always up to you to start a sexual encounter. She can also come and request that for you if that is what she needs, if that will be helpful, if that is what she desires. And if you have a woman that is coming to you for that, feel appreciation. That doesn't happen very often. And many times, those relationships are not healthy either. There was a man who went to therapy. He was married and had 4 kids with his wife. And he was happy until he met another lady. The lady was very complacent with him, and anything he will ask, she will do. Anything he wanted in bed, she was for him. She didn't have any arguments. She told him that she accepted the package as it came, and she loved every part of his body. She loved the way he smelled, and he was the best man she ever had in bed, having a sexual encounter. The men believe in starting setting time aside to go and see the the lover, the second lady, and he started not caring for the family. He got obsessed with the lover because when he came to her, there was no problems. There was only happiness. There was explosive sexual encounters. And finally, he decided that he was going to leave his wife and kids. He had a meeting and told the family. The wife cried, but she understood and she had already noticed that he was in love with someone else because she noticed him coming home smelling in a different way and behaving in different ways. And she had already noticed that. But when the husband spoke to the family, the wife accepted the decision. The man then went and made a life with the lover. And when he started living with her, he realized that she was changing. She wasn't complacent anymore. She wasn't hot anymore. She was cold. She was distant. And the more the time went on, she was changing and behaving more like the ex-wife. So finally, the man got separated from the second woman and started having dreams about her where he will dream himself killing the lover, killing the second lady. And it became a behavior where he wasn't resting. He went and saw a therapist and he asked the lady who was the therapist, he says, can you please explain to me Why do I keep on having these dreams where I'm killing my lover? Because I don't understand why she changed it. If she was all what I wanted and needed and all what I ever dreamed, she was that kind of person. But once when I became and lived with her and I made her my wife, she changed it completely. And the lady therapist told the man what happened with that woman was that she was attracted to a relationship with you when you were unavailable. Because you were unavailable, she made anything possible to attract you, to bring you in to her presence, to her house, to her life. She behaved in a way that there was no complaints for you to have. She did everything that you wanted and desired because she wanted to get you. She was having a relationship with you that way only because you were unavailable, and that made her eager to get you. So once he got you, then she had no need to get you anymore because you were now available for her. So when you became available for her, then you were not interested anymore. And the man said, that is not fair because just because the way she was behaving and being all what I wanted her to be, and she made me feel high expressions of passion. And I never felt happier than when I was with her because she made me experience those experiences. I left my wife and my kids, and I will never get that back because of my stupidity of following this woman that presented me an image that was false. And I hate her so much that I dream every night that I kill her. The therapist says there is not much you can do now other than understanding that everything that the lady you're dreaming on killing did was doing out of your inability to be with her and out of her desire to get you, because ultimately she wanted to be your wife, and she knew how to get you and she got you. But once when she got you, then she lost interest in you. That might happen to you. You need to become smart because maybe you're losing the moon for being looking at the stars, or you're going for the star and you're losing the moon. And you can be the sun for a woman as well. And she might be looking at the stars, or she might be looking at the rainbows. And she's letting you go as the sun that you are, as this beautiful being of light. And that is her fault. And that is her loss. But maybe her departure will teach you that you are the sun, this beautiful sun that illuminates the earth and that gives life and light to the moon at night. I'm not trying to diminish who you are. If you feel you are a sun and you have a moon and you're still together, I'm glad. Thank God that there is still healthy relationships or people who's able to stay together, even with the situations that we're currently facing and living and going through. This time in history and in the development of the world is very unique, and we chose to be here to witness it. We chose to be here to see the world elevating its energy since 2012. And 2020 is a year we're going to remember for many years. Our kids, ourselves, the lives that we have lost. I remember Grandpa talking about the war, and I said he used to talk about the revolution. I don't remember what year he was talking about. And I said, "Did you go to the revolution, Grandpa?" He said, "No, but we lost many lives." And I feel like when we're older, like grannies, and we're probably gonna be talking about that, about these years of hardship. 2009 with the economy, 2020 with COVID, and all in between, all the events that have happened locally and globally, right? All the changes that we're going through and overcoming and just doing what we can, even using this type of platforms, video recording to tell messages of hope to people, to try and just give a piece of our heart, just a grain of sand to apport to someone's life quality, to someone's probably treating or appreciating someone in a better way because you said something. Because suddenly the way you said it makes sense. Because suddenly the way you said it, they trusted you. Maybe because they know you in person. Maybe because they're attracted to your message. Maybe because they're attracted to your voice. Our voice has a very unique and distinctive vibration. And when you're attracted to someone's voice, is because your soul is similar. Your soul vibrates at a similar rate. And there are teachers in our life that it doesn't matter if they're not physically present and they're not incarnated anymore, they still guide us. And it's all thanks to the technology that people who passed away are still able to have pages on social media. They're used to see videos available that you can play their books, their tapes, their teachings, their live presentations. And it's all thanks to the technology. And who knows when the message is going to get to you. If you need it soon as it's made, then this is the time. But if it gets to you years from now, then that is the time. And it might not make sense now. It might make sense in years and months and weeks or by the next holiday or by the next time someone dies in your hands and it happens to be a woman. And all of a sudden, you just develop this love and appreciation for that gender. And you're able to touch someone in their face and say, I love you. I appreciate you. I value you. Welcome aboard. I'm glad to have you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being alive. I'm so glad to meet you. I love you. Thank you for watching.